I'd love to get him into the shots. You don't have to use them, but
Yeah.
he's also kind of an original, strange person.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that one of the reasons he wants me to buy more of these things
Yeah.
is he might not be able to stay there much longer.
Okay.
Because I originally started saying that, look, I just want the educational films that are about India or South Asia broadly. It was all India because it was 1950s.
Yeah.
Maybe some Sri Lanka, some Nepal. And then he said, oh, why don't you take the Middle East ones? And then he said, why don't you take these other ones? Oh, I found more. And it was more than I wanted or even more than I could use. But I felt like maybe I was doing some sort of preservation task that he can no longer do.
Right.
And he senses that if it goes with me, at least it has a new home where it's safe. But I'm also not sure how much longer I can do this because I don't have endless storage space either.
Yeah.
So I, in turn, have been trying to find a library or a foundation that would take those films, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things I've been thinking about is, okay, how do I demonstrate the importance of this material? If I made a film from one of these reels, that might be a way to demonstrate the importance. But the tricky thing, of course, is if you make the film, then people are happy with your film.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily care about the source material.
Unless you made the source material part of the exhibition.
Right. Yeah.
Then it would become a museum problem.
Yes. There is a museum in Netherlands that has the wedding film of Peter's parents.
Oh, right.
They were that distinguished.
Wow.
But I haven't been able to get hold of it yet.
Wow. Okay.
I've been actually thinking of trying to include it in an exhibition at Eindhoven at Van Abbe Museum.
And then someone's got to find it for you.
Yeah, somebody finds it for me. Well, I mean, I'm still in the universe of doing almost everything myself, much as I talk about a crew.
Right.
Because really, I mean, when you said who's your crew, the other thing I didn't say, which is a practical thing, slightly embarrassing to admit, I can't have a continuous, perpetual crew with me because I can't employ them all the time,
No,
right?
you should. I mean, that's
Right.
ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, there's only a few people who have like a permanent team. I think John's team is his team that's been with him forever.
His editor
He's-
I know well now, Lara.
Okay.
He's a friend of mine.
Right.
He was relatively new.
right.
Um,
And then David's been with him forever, David and Lena and Ashite, and that's also the family unit. But those are the exceptions, I think. And so one thing that happens, which is inevitable, of course, is that most of my friends that I work with, they don't work with me to make a huge amount of money because they know it's kind of a labor of love and not a huge amount of funding. To actually pay their rent, they go and work on advertising shoots.
yeah.
And then the thing with advertising shoots is once those things start and once you're in that universe, you can't as easily pull away for an experimental project that's done by your friend. Should I walk into the sun?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's almost this thing where I wait sometimes for there to be a slowdown in my friends' commercial work
Yeah.
so that they're available. But that means in some strange way, you're actually completely dependent on
And advertising is that.
yeah, and also this strange thing where you are always, in some ways, you are always working with people in their downtime.
Yeah. Which becomes a different thing in some ways.
Yeah, I mean, I've learned to work my way around it. But for example, in Last Man, it won't be so obvious. But one of the things that was really difficult is matching the color of the sky or matching the color of the room.
Right.
Because the final shoot had to be done in the middle of winter, which is the only time my cinematographer could come.
Right.
And the reason he could only come in the dead of winter is because nobody's doing commercial shoots the 2 weeks before Christmas.
Right.
So then he was, then he was available. Yeah. So then, my schedule is basically when other people's fallow time is. So I mean, I would love to have I do have somebody working in the studio now for the summer. But I've never been in a situation where I can just hire somebody full-time continuous.
But you would like to.
I would love to, yeah. It's like little bits and bobs always. Yeah.
What do you feel about being nominated for the Tanto?
Oh, I was surprised, first of all, especially because, although I was born in London, I'm a British citizen, but I live in New York now.
Yeah.
And I did think that it was maybe something that happens when you are here more. I mean, in a way, it was really nice.